SmackDown 3/21 of the year 2025. Three dudes in the main event segment. Babyface, babyface, babyface. Brawl. Brawl to get us to a triple threat WrestleMania match. Nothing on the line, no reason whatsoever, other than Roman is upset with CM Punk for eliminating him in the Royal Rumble. Because Roman didn't know those were the rules in the Rumble. You throw somebody. And during this brawl, each one of these gentlemen stopped right in the middle of the brawl so they could point to a sign. Because I don't know how many brawls you guys have been in, but it's always good to stop in the middle of it to point at a sign. If you're in the street, that stop sign, if it's glistening, right? Especially when maybe there's a street light that's glistening, that stop sign. You want to point. You just want to show the person you're fighting with. Hold on, wait, look at that. Look at that sign. Look at the street lights. Look at that sign that says shop right. Man, makes you want to go in there and buy some bagels. They pointed at this, each one of them. They stopped. They pointed. And because they stopped and pointed at a sign, they then got their asses whooped, and then the next guy stopped and pointed at the sign, and then got their ass kicked. And then Roman was the last one, stood on steps, stared at the sign, and proceeded to get his ass whooped until we faded to black, thankfully ending this show. And that was it. That's how you got to the triple threat, the nonsensical match between three baby faces for no reason whatsoever, nothing that couldn't have been conducted in one-on-one matchups. But that's how we did it. We pointed at the sign. Everybody was right. BC, just wait, let it play out, man. Hunter's going to cook on this one. You just got to let it play out. There's going to be a big angle that's going to be set up. There it is. Are they going to brawl every single time they're in the... Don't worry, it ain't going to be too often. Roman doesn't show up too often. So don't worry, they're all three of them ain't going to brawl every single show. You'll get Punk and Seth Rollins brawling every show. Tiffany, Stratton, and Charlie Flair showed you last week. They're ready to brawl every single show. You want to talk ass backwards? Charlie and Tiffany brawled last week, all out. Took 20 people to try to break them up, and they couldn't even do it. They brawled, and then this week, they had a sit-down interview. You want to talk ass backwards in World Wrestling Entertainment, try having a brawl, and then do a sit-down interview the next week. You might want to flip Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. It's on site, right? What that means, that's code for Hunter Hearst Helmsley's lazy booking. That just means brawl every time you see each other. Brawl. The storyline is on site. That just means brawl. Brawl, brawl, brawl. The tag team division. Every single tag team. Just go out there and do stuff. At Mania, we'll put all of you in one match. We're going to talk about this show, 3/21/25. From the fine folks over in Italy, my peeps. No shade over to my other people in Ireland. Much love to my Irish peeps as well. But I do want to prop up and salute my fine fellow Italians. But not even Italy could save this. I could not believe, but you know what? I could believe. I've been the only one in the community since it seems the beginning of time. I've been trying to wave the flag, not the Italian flag, but I've been trying to wave that red flag saying, guys, hold on. Hunter's lost. Guys, this isn't looking good. This does not feel like Mania season. Don't blow smoke up Hunter's ass because he'll keep going. And enough people kept blowing that smoke. And here we go. The only one in this damn community to tell it like it was, to tell the truth. And here we are, just 4 weeks away from today. 4 weeks away from WrestleMania. And if you saw the upload I put up late yesterday, latest reports are saying that even those upper brass in Stamford, Connecticut, those suits and ties in World Wrestling Entertainment are finally concerned with the lack of enthusiasm for WrestleMania 41. WWE's upper brass is concerned. This isn't a pat on the back, though, BC, man. You were so right that now even the suits and ties are worried that there's not enough excitement. It's not a time to pat ourselves on the back. It's time to get everybody telling the truth. This does not feel like Mania season. Stop. Hunter doesn't need you blowing smoke up his ass. He doesn't care. He's going to suck every penny out of you anyway. He doesn't care about giving you creative. He just cares about the spotlight, his commercials, his voiceovers, Hall of Fame inductions, and hosting or co-hosting roast of WrestleMania. The fuck is that? The roast of, that's what Hunter's spending his time on. A commercial for the roast of WrestleMania. Did you guys see that? Meanwhile, we're getting this garbage. 3 of your top baby faces, because you had nothing planned for them, all thrown into one match, a triple threat with no title, no sanction, nothing on the line, all because Roman got eliminated from the Rumble, and he didn't like that from Punk. So now they all point at a WrestleMania sign in 6 minutes when the show ends. Hunter goes, "It's official, triple threat." Gee. Forgive me not if I'm not too excited to see 3 of the top baby faces do what we saw for 4 minutes last night for 25 minutes at Mania. Because even the brawl sucked. It is clear these 3 worked horribly in that brawl. What do you think is going to happen when the bell rings? One person will go out of the ring for 2 to 3 minutes. The other 2 will wrestle. The other guy will come in. One guy will get thrown out. The other 2 will wrestle for 3 to 4 minutes. Because the 3 of them together is going to be clunky AF. I've been calling it straight fire, and I've been right from day one. If you think I'm stopping now, grab your coffees, 44 dive, we rollin'. It is time to get amplified. It is time to review SmackDown 321 of the year of 2025, 4 weeks from Mania. If you can handle the amplification, smash that sub and the notification, smash the up, help BC know that you're fully amplified. Help the algorithm, help support that channel. If you cannot handle the amplification, Das Boot, hit the bricks. It's not an airport. You ain't gotta announce the departure. It's time to get amplified. Let's do this. That was one of the goofiest things I've ever witnessed in professional wrestling. Legit, guys. If we were shooting the shit about pro wrestling in a Starbucks, of course, we're not this frustrated. We don't got the volume amped up to 11, right? We're just talking about probably how stupid this all is, but sharing a laugh, getting another latte, double shot, triple pump, pistachio. But we're just shooting the shit. If you're at school or you're at the cubicle at work, you're not flipping out over professional wrestling. Whether you're liking what you're seeing, whether you absolutely can't stand this type of booking and lack of creative. No. But because it is this platform, because you did come to this channel to talk some pro wrestling, and because it is BC, so more than likely you're here to be entertained as well, then yeah, you're damn right we're going to pump that volume up. For entertainment purposes, yes, but don't get it twisted. Every word that we're about to spew is 1,010% truth, as always. This was one of the goofiest segments I've ever seen in pro wrestling last night to end this 3-hour SmackDown, which, by the way, 3 hours of SmackDown is 3 hours too long because it's that bad. That's right, do the math. Do your Steiner math, because it is 3 hours too long. But the segment that ended this with Punk, with Roman, and with Rollins, I can't believe it. Since Punk has come back, I've been pretty high on what this dude's been doing. I was actually looking forward to what CM Punk was going to do for Mania, thinking at least that Hunter cannot botch it that bad, right? CM Punk is pretty hot coming off of that Drew McIntyre feud. The little thing that he had there with Rollins, you can't screw this up. He found a way to go beyond the realm of screwing up CM Punk. Roman Reigns. Roman is coming back for this. I guess it makes sense because he can't be around that much anyway, or at least he's not. So what can you really put Roman in? I guess he has to be a third wheel like a Sethington Rollins. It's just sad that you take 3 top baby faces and you throw him in this meaningless match. There's no reason. It's not a title. There's not even Even if you called it a number one contenders match, it's a joke. That would be something you would throw at SmackDown, and whoever wins that goes to take on the champion at the pay-per-view. There's nothing. There's not a reason. But that's not what made it the goofiest thing I've ever seen, or one of. And I've seen some goofy damn things. I've seen the Gobbledygooker. You guys remember that Survivor Series? What was that, 88, 89? Maybe 90? I've seen the Gobbledygooker, a turkey, a chicken pop out of an egg. I've seen a Shockmaster stumble through the wall. I'm not even going to get into it. I've seen David Arquette win a world championship on national television. I don't even know if that was a pay-per-view, was it? I've seen David Arquette. Do you know who David Arquette is? We recently saw Retribution. You think it can't get worse than Retribution? It can't get goofier, sillier, more ridiculous than Retribution? Then NXT is saying, hold my coffee. They're trying to do Retribution negative 2.0 right now as we speak in NXT. I don't know what's going on with that. But this what we saw last night, 3 of your top baby faces brawling. Now you guys are saying in yesterday's upload, BC, you called it, man. You said they were going to brawl to set this match up, and you were right. Of course. I wish I could give myself a pat on the back. I'll say, damn right I was right. No, man. It doesn't take rocket science. It's not moving mountains. It's common sense and logic. That's all Hunter relies on, is a brawl. Not just to set up a match or a feud, but to actually do the match and feud. The storyline, if you will, throughout is just brawl, 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 matchup. So no, nobody was going out on a limb here, as much as I would love to take credit for that. But that's not what made this the goofiest thing. It's during the brawl, these 3 dudes would stop. They stopped. And they pointed at the sign one by one. Punk stopped brawling, got on the commentary table, pointed to the sign. You, me, Mania! And then he jumps off and gets his ass whooped. So then Rollins is up on the apron. And he goes, you, me, Mania! And he points to the sign. And then he gets off the apron and gets his ass whooped. Roman takes them all out. And then Roman gets on the steel steps. You, me, Mania! And then he gets off and they just start brawling again. Who fights like that? And there's kids, because that's what they have to be, kids that are loving this. I think this was amazing. And the match is going to be so good. It should main event, BC. Main event? For what fucking purpose? 3 dudes, and there's not even a heel, so there's no reason to fucking care. You're just splitting your audience. At that point, it's just who the audience is more for. Is that the reason to care, I guess? Because what are they fighting for? Right? Italy's... Hunter Hearst Helmsley's booking is making the fans first and foremost with the talent. He's making everybody look like an retard. Literally, that's what he's doing. He's going out of his way to make the fans look so damn stupid and probably laughing backstage at Gorilla as they all freaking chant, OTC, OTC. And then all of a sudden, Rollins' music hits and they're like, OTC, cult of personality. CM Punk comes out, all of a sudden, they forgot who the fuck they're even cheering for. Let's just cheer for everybody. Cheer for everybody. Could you imagine if we booked this correctly and all of these top baby faces had matchups with top heels with storylines that had you on the edge of your seat? Now that sounds like WrestleMania, doesn't it? No. Hunter's like, I don't have anything for you guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you all in one match, okay? You're going to brawl, you're going to point at the sign, and the fans are going to go, this is awesome. Because that's what you're doing. You're making your fans look just as goofy as Hunter Hearst Helmsley's booking is. They don't know who the frick to chant for, so they just chant for everybody. Could you imagine showing up to the Super Bowl? It's the Green Bay Packers versus the New England Patriots, and you show up with a Packers hat and a Patriots jersey. And when the Packers score, yeah, go Pack, go, go Pack, go. And when the Patriots score, New England, let's go Patriots. Packers interception, Packers, yeah. People are going to look at you like, what the world? Who does this? If you get into an altercation at your job, do you stop, take a piece of paper and a marker, write down WrestleMania, stick it to the wall, and before you're about to come to blows or say another word to this dude, you just point at the sign? There. Lunch break, me, you, by the coffee machine. If you're at Starbucks, somebody looks at your side eye, maybe close the door on you in the way in. You got a little bit of a beef. Do you go up to the menu board and start changing the letters to where it says WrestleMania? Look at the dude that just side-eyed you and slammed the door at you. Stare up to that menu board that now says WrestleMania and point at it. You, me, Mania. Dude's like, shut up, dude. I'm just trying to get my latte. Move. No, you don't understand. I'm pointing. The fuck does that? They have made the point so damn ridiculous. It is cringeworthy. They were doing that last night, and it was cringe. It was ridiculous. It was one of the goofiest things I've ever seen. Ever. And I've seen decades of professional wrestling, more specifically World Wrestling Entertainment. And this is what you're getting. Perhaps it would have been a bit more effective if we didn't see the same brawl last week between Tiffany and Charles Flair, but we did. And 957 brawls within the last 3 months. Maybe that would have been a little bit more effective last night. But the brawl, we see every single show, sometimes 2 to 3 times a show. So yeah, forgive us, not sorry, if we weren't hanging on the edge of our seat to see these 3 baby faces fight each other for no reason. Goofily, I might add. And it was clunky. What a clunky brawl that was. If that's the first 4 minutes to look forward to Mania for 25 minutes, no thank you. No thanks at all. That certainly doesn't need to be a main event. Put it on the pre-show. How about that? How about that for a hot take? Put it on the pre-show. That's where I'm going to make my coffee, take a piss, go outside, pick up a bad habit, maybe throw myself in the traffic. That's what I said. How do you not feel... But by the way, how do you not feel bad for dudes like LA Knight, Drew McIntyre? Like, legit, how do you not feel bad for Drew McIntyre? This dude did all he could to be a diabolical heel, did all he could in the Punk feud, ultimately lost that feud by booking design, which should have... I'm seeing Punk has to come out, even if it's slightly, he's got to come out better. He's the face. But Drew did everything. And in typical Hunter Hearst Helmsley fashion, because he does not want to make diabolical heels. He hates it. He just wants to do a bunch of face versus face matchups. He wants to turn Braun Breaker more of a face and then put Penta in front of him. He wants Rhea and Io and Bianca, all 3 faces, to face each other for the championship. A triple threat, all women's babyface match at Mania. Just like the all men's top babyface match with Rollins, Reigns, and Punk. Sound familiar? This is just what he does. If it wasn't for Cena telling him he wanted to turn heel, Cena was going to take on Cody as a face versus face. This is what Hunter does. He doesn't want anybody to be spoken about in the diabolical heel like Vince once booked him correctly as. I say it all the time. Hunter would have never been what he was if Vince didn't book him correctly as a diabolical heel, putting him with top baby faces and positioning them correctly by pushing, elevating, captivating storytelling. You can say what you want about Vince, but he knew how to book Hunter Helmsley and the faces that he worked with. That's how Hunter became a diabolical heel. You don't have that anymore. The biggest heel you have, you could say, is Gunther. We've seen him in the recent months shake hands with Cody, shake hands with Randy Orton. What a diabolical heel. He told Jay he's going to give him 10 weeks of hell, and he gets beat up and runs away every single week while Jay's left in the ring yeeting. These are facts, guys. You don't have to like it. I hear you. You don't have to like me. Gotcha. Don't care. These are all facts that I'm distributing. They're fact bombs. And they go off one after the other. It's legit talk. You know it. There's no diabolical heels. Drew McIntyre. We could say Gunther was the closest. I say Drew McIntyre coming out of 2024 and into 2025. And what does Drew have? Drew's over there with Damian Priest. Much love to Damian. I truly like Damian. Like as a person, the dude is just really good, and I hope the best for him. And I do see his better days ahead of him career-wise. I absolutely do. But where everyone was going, whoa, LA Knight, super over, man. It's not just the catchphrase. Like, this dude's checking off a lot of boxes. He doesn't just have like a yeet and he's selling some merchandise. LA Knight, more than just a flash in the pan. Over a year, they were still chanting so damn loudly. So instead of finally just pushing LA Knight to the main event scene, maybe a world title picture, who knows? Instead of doing that, Hunter went, they really like LA Knight. Hey, Damian, come here, I'm going to push you. And he pushes a guy. This is the truth. Damian should have been in the mid-card all of 2024. He was not ready for the main event. How do we know this? This is my opinion. We know this because look at the result. Look at the fan response. Look at the numbers he was doing. Look at the lack of enthusiasm, unfortunately. Look at some of the big botches that he did too, man. You can't make them in those type of matchups. I'm not going to get into it, but you guys remember one of them when he just didn't kick out of that 3 count, man. That was rough. But that's probably the lowest end of everything else that BC was telling you. He's not ready yet. Book him correctly as a mid-carder and in time. We'll tell you when he's ready. But he just wanted to do what Vince does, right? I have my mindset on this, and that's who we're going with. He didn't even want to give LA Knight a chance. LA Knight had to wait a whole freaking year to get anything, man, even a U.S. championship, which he's still fledgling around with right now, man. He's fledgling with that U.S. championship. He should have something really cool for Mania, but what does LA Knight have? It ain't just Drew McIntyre, who's reduced to taking on Damian Priest, who unfortunately failed as a main eventer because it was not time. Doesn't mean he's done for good. Now he's got to completely be rebuilt. And LA Knight is another dude we just aforementioned. LA Knight has nothing for Mania, and he's the U.S. champion. And he's sitting around they're promoting a Braun Strowman match for next week. Instead of giving LA Knight a real WrestleMania storyline, something that we're all talking about, man, in a month, LA Knight's having that big match at Mania for the title. No, they're promoting a Braun Strowman LA Knight match. Yes, you don't even have to think about it anymore. Face versus face. Split your audience. Nobody wins. No heels are being built. Sound familiar? It's redundant. It's the vicious cycle of Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Face versus face, face versus face, face versus face, face versus face, 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 face. And once in a while, he'll give you a heel versus a heel, right? Butch will pin Ludwig Kaiser. Remember that was a few weeks ago? Remember Gunther and Bronson Reed and so many heel versus heel matches? Once in a while, he'll sprinkle that in. He doesn't want to do he doesn't want to do heel versus heel matchups or face versus heel. He does want to do heel versus heel, but not as much as face versus face. But he does not like doing the traditional face heel. And I don't know if there's this block where he just doesn't want anybody to get up to his status of what the cerebral assassin was. And it has hindered and has been a detriment to this roster. That is the absolute most factual truth you can get in the community. And it can only come from the Amplify man. Valkyria and Chelsea Green, your mid-card women champions. What do they have for Mania? Nothing. They're focusing more on an Ivy Dakota Kai feud than Val. I don't even know what Val's doing. I really don't. I don't even know who she's with right now in terms of a program. Is she even in a program? We're 4 weeks away from Mania. What the fuck was the reason for the title then? Chelsea's over, and I love Chelsea. Chelsea is a superstar. She is. All you have to do is for Chelsea is give her bare minimum decent booking, and she'll do the rest. He's not even doing that. Mania's in 4 weeks. He's got her over in NXT. We're watching Zelina Vega and Piper last night. I actually enjoyed that match. That's not how we should be watching it. We should be captivated. But hey, bare minimum, I enjoyed it. I know I may be in the minority for that. I know a lot of people probably are going to pan that. But Zelina did her thing. Piper didn't fuck it up too much. And, seeing Chelsea out there doing something is something. But Chelsea has nothing for Mania, man. You're going to have to tag team division. You're already seeing what's going on. That they're setting up for a multi-team schmaz like they always do. The only question is are they actually going to put it at Mania? Or are they going to be done dirty like always and just be thrown together on a SmackDown beforehand, the Raw afterwards? At this point, do we even want to see such a shit show on the big show? Not Paul White. And you can go down the line, man. Like where Hunter has just botched everybody. Your champions, Valkyria and Chelsea and LA Knight. And your tag team champions, man. Across the board. And even if you're not a New Day, how do you the New Day was one of the best heel turns we've seen in a while, right? And almost instantly, they were just cooled off. Tiffany said it best to Charlie. We're going to talk all about it, right? Hunter took fire and cooled it off with cold water instantly. The New Day is an afterthought when they just had a kick-ass heel turn because Hunter's booking was, let's have them play around with Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio for 2 months. Yeah, that's keeping momentum. That is gaining momentum. That's keeping that fire ignited. Good job, Hunter, said nobody ever. Wyatt 6. What were the Wyatt 6? What happened to the how sad is that? If you follow this channel, I've already went over this a billion times. Baby powder to the eyes in the middle of the Raw. Howdy is looking up at the lights. Their leader is looking up at the lights because he got baby powder in the eyes. And then they're gone. They're just gone. They quietly get moved over to SmackDown. Karrion Kross, his group actually beat Wyatt 6. Hey, CBC, Hunter has long-term plans for Karrion's group. Yeah, after they beat him, a few weeks later, he fired most of them. He fired AOP, Paul Ellering. What plans? But that's what you hear. Hunter has long-term plans. No, he doesn't. Have the Wyatts lose and then go away and maybe one day come back. As far as the team that beat them, Karrion and the Final Testament, sit at catering for a few weeks. I'll get back to you. And when he got back to him, he said, yeah, you're all fired. You don't have a group anymore. And ever since, Karrion just walks around backstage like he's like trying to find the unemployment line. I don't even think he's looking for catering anymore for the triple layered moose cake. He's already been filled up on that. Karrion's walking around backstage looking for a purpose. Every week he walks around backstage with his beautiful, hot, smoking ass. Is that his wife, Scarlett Bordeaux? His lady, either way. So he's winning at life anyway with that lady by his side. But how sad is it? What the fuck happened to Karrion, too? Not just the Wyatts during all that feud. You know what's sad? Everything at this point in this damn company. But this is what 20 some odd minutes. I don't have the time check right. And we could keep going. I haven't even gotten to the show yet. This is just all my cold open frustrations. And I can keep going with everybody on this roster. It is Mania season. At least 7 matches a night we're thinking, right? They moved one night to 2 nights because it was supposedly too big to be contained in one night. And Hunter cannot even book one night. One night. One night. He can't even book it. You got some random ass triple threat matchups. You got Jason Uso going for a championship. How's that, by the way? Yeah. Oh, how fast everybody now is realizing that was a botch, a waste of a Royal Rumble. I tried to tell you. After everybody gets over the initial, oh, he deserves it. That was a fun twist. Jason won Jey Uso's going for the title. After everybody got over that whole stupid you deserve it, I hate where we are as a society, by the way, that everything is a participation trophy, right? Now in pro wrestling, everybody just deserves everything. They don't care about how we get there, man. They don't care about the whole journey to get to that destination. Nobody cares. It's just, oh, I want to see them get the title because they've been busting their ass. There's way more factors. He should get the title because he's selling more t-shirts. He should get the title because the live crowd goes yeet for 10 minutes. And then the bell rings and the connection is gone. No, that's not the yes movement. That's not Kofi Mania. Stop. You're trying to manufacture something that cannot be manufactured. It can't be made. It can't be put into production. The faster people realize it, the better they can go, how can we fix this? The good news is something happened this week, and I think it was the Monday Night Raw debacles. The Rhea Ripley whining and fans going, whoa, we like Rhea, but not like this, bro. This is weird. She's just like wrote her name on a contract and she's crying and she told Pierce, one way or the other, I'm getting in this match. Like Daniel Bryan several years ago with Edge and Roman. And then, of course, the whole Jey Uso botched booking. Not just the botches by Jey Uso, the booking of that whole 1 minute segment, including Gunther getting his ass handed to him when he's the one who attacked Jey from behind. So there was some real big backlash to Monday Night Raw this week. And I think that finally did it, where a lot more people, and then the latest report, WWE is now even concerned with the lack of excitement and enthusiasm for WrestleMania. It just seems like the whole wrestling world this week finally woke up and went, all right, we have to be honest. This doesn't feel like WrestleMania season, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley is absolutely screwed. He doesn't know what he's doing. And all of his time is going to film commercials and his Hall of Fame speech, the roast of WrestleMania, anything that can take his focus off of the one thing we need him to pay attention to, which is creative. He's paying attention to everything else. If Hunter wants to be a superstar, cool. Give him the biggest superstar contract ever known to man, Ari Emanuel. Do it. That's fine. Give him a nice, shiny office job in Stamford, Connecticut, too. Give him the most money any wrestler has ever made. Cool. But do the right thing and remove this dude from creative, because there's nothing creative being distributed. At anybody's job, at anybody's position, if you sucked at what you did, you would be removed from the position. If your job is to drive a forklift in the warehouse, but you put the forklift through walls every single day, eventually you're going to get fired because you suck at your job. If your job is construction, you're helping to build a house. And when it's all said and done, your whole section of the house turned out to be a bridge. A bridge. They're like kitchen, living room, bridge. What the heck, Hank? Right? Hank would be walking over that bridge into the unemployment line. You'd be fired. That commercial, right? The kid that paints the football fields, and it's supposed to say Chiefs, but he forgot the I, so it just says Chefs. And it's hours before game time, and now the end zone says Chefs, not the Chiefs. You'd have to be fired. You can't do that just because you wanted to take a timeout and eat a Snickers. If your job is head of creative and the fans are telling you none of this is creative at all, and it hasn't been for months, for years, it's not. You need to be removed. We said it about Vincent Kennedy during the final years of his run in WWE, and that was sad to say because there was a time where Vince was a genius. He's not anymore. We said it's time you got to hit the bricks. Everybody thought Hunter was going to be the savior. I did not. And I also didn't want to be right about that. But I knew I most likely was going to. Here we are a couple of years later, and it's clear that I'm right. He's in over his head. This is not NXT where it was 1 hour of television every single week on the WWE network. Now he's got a couple hours on the CW for NXT. He's got almost 3 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours every single Monday night on Netflix, and he's got 3 hours on Fox or USA Network. And then one, sometimes even 2 PLE pay-per-views every single month. Hunter is lost. He's lost. And we have to keep the same energy that we had with Vince for Hunter. Otherwise, how much more time do you give this dude? 3, 4, 5 more years? I'm not saying some stuff isn't better than when Vince was running it. Certainly not the creative. Hunter's creative is just bad in a different way. Vince's was awful in one way. Hunter's creative is awful in an entirely different way. Hunter's trying to change the whole landscape of how wrestling is distributed. Not doing the traditional face heel anymore. Not giving us storylines, but rather a bunch of title changes and brawls. Hoping that the chaos and the news that there's a new champion, hopefully that's going to suffice from his laziness to give us actual stories. Bullshit, it hasn't worked for months and now years. So yeah, it is clear you can love Hunter Helmsley. That's cool. I just said, don't lose pick up another job. Make more money than you've ever made, Hunter. but just get out of the creative role and put somebody in its place that's creative. You want a hot take? And I mean every fucking word of this. Put Vincent Russo in that position, and I would enjoy this product. Hopefully, even if it's from time to time, be captivated by this shit way more than Hunter Helmsley. I will take Vince Russo. I absolutely would. And I use that name because everybody likes to shit on Vince Russo. But you know what? That was at a time where the writers and Vince Russo, they gave a fuck. They wanted to pop and get a reaction. Vincent Kennedy gave a fuck. He was willing to cross those boundaries. The talent gave a fuck. The talent back in the day, they were hungry. Nowadays, they play fucking video games backstage up until bell time. And they're totally complacent with their paycheck. They're making that good WW money. They don't give a fuck. Undertaker goes backstage. He sees what he sees. He talks on his podcast. Undertaker says, yeah, today's locker rooms, they're just soft. It's unfortunate. And he takes backlash for that. Even by fans. Fans turning on The Undertaker because he called today's athletes soft. Hey, man, they're taking pressure off and stress by just playing a few hours of video games. There's nothing wrong with that, Taker. Okay, you want to play a video game for an hour or two, but spend even more time on your character, on your promos, on what you're going to be doing. Fighting back a little bit with your creative or lack thereof and try to come up with your ideas. Fight for your position. Be hungry. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to ruffle the feathers. Nobody wants to fucking care. The promos suck. 99% of the wrestlers today, they can't cut a damn good promo. BC in this upload is cutting a better rant and promo than most wrestlers you see today, probably the last decade. BC's fucking lighting this shit on fire. Nobody wants to work on their shit. Back in the day, wrestlers, the writers, even Vincent, they were hungry. Now everybody is complacent. The talent sits around playing games, collecting their checks. Hunter Helmsley is everywhere but backstage helping anybody out. He's just filming commercials, doing the voiceovers for the PLEs. Are you ready, France? Germany, are you ready? Hall of Fame speeches, the roast of WrestleMania, and the commercial for it. You saw that last. That's what Hunter's spending all his time on. So he doesn't give a fuck, and he's in no position to lose that position. He's not going to because Ari Emanuel and all them don't know how to run WWE, business-wise, yes. But they think that Hunter spent all that time under Vince, so Hunter is the only man for the job. So I doubt very much he's in any way he's near losing his position as head of creative. So Hunter doesn't have to give a fuck. Meanwhile, the kids will keep going. Everything is awesome. They'll drag their parents out to these shows that are 30, 40 times overpriced. The parents spending all that money will want to, no matter what, have a good time. So they'll all yeet for 10 minutes and sing Seth Rollins' sing-along. They'll fucking yell at the top of their lungs OTC for 10 minutes, and before you know it, the last half an hour of SmackDown only had about 4 minutes of substance, and that was the worst 4 minutes of the show, go figure. The brawl and pointing. But WWE is a stone's throw away from Disney on Ice. You show up and you scream for all the little colorful bullshit and the catchphrases and the sing-alongs. It's just audience participation. But smokescreen. Because the live house is telling Hunter, well, this is a party. Meanwhile, your ratings, which are stagnant and even going backwards, your global audience on Netflix has been cut in half. And that's as we head closer to WrestleMania. How the fuck is that even possible? It's because the viewers at home are not there having a party, so it's a shit show. You're not entertaining people at home. I could go on and on. This will be a 3-hour cold open, and I'd still have more to say. It is so frustrating what has happened to WWE, man, to pro wrestling and talent, and how there's just that lack of hunger. The writers are just bad. The promoters seem to not give a fuck. And then you have real fans that voice that concern. And there's the kids. Nah, it's amazing. You're just hating. Whatever you want to call it. I'll be the master hater then. That's fucking fine with me. But this shit is damn sure going to change eventually, because this ain't happening. Not on our watch. Just fucking horrible. Let's go over this show. I'm going to get a huge swig of coffee. And we'll go over this show. How's that sound? We'll start from hour one. I think Randy Orton started this. And yeah, you guessed it. 5 minutes of sing-along. We get it. You know the lyrics to Randy Orton's song. All right, so hour number one, SmackDown 321-25. Randy Orton starts this show. Italy, rep it. Italy was having a lot of fun, man. And again, that's part of Hunter's ploy, too. Not just that they know they've milked every penny out of the U.S. crowds, so now they know we should probably go to every other country and get every penny from them. But the other flip side is it's part of the lazy booking strategy for Mania, right? Bunch of title changes, brawls, and international crowds, making it seem like everything that's being produced is actually so damn good. Because they know these crowds will be all hyped up. They don't really get to see WWE too often. So Randy Orton starts the show. Italy is singing every word to that theme song. Kevin Owens would interrupt. Owens says he wants to win tag titles with Randall Orton. Randall says, what happened to fight Owens fight? Now you're just bitch Owens bitch. Owens' request was formally denied, I guess you could say. And Randy just says, no, what you are going to get is that whooping. No, you're going to get that boot upside your ass and that boot upside the dome piece. Owens is flustered. Damn it, I tried to get out of this. And there it is. Moments later, it's declared that that's going to be a WrestleMania match. Again, I wouldn't mind the match. I just wish more substance was put into this. I really do. I mean, Owens is right there. Randy was taken out for months. And the dude that did it's right there. If you're Randy, right, any dude is jumping out of that ring and hightailing it to Kevin Owens. We gonna catch you. I'm gonna put your dome piece through one of the trailers in the parking lot. You gonna get that shit. No, Randy's just like, oh, you know what? I'm intrigued about this tag title thing with you, but no. You put me out of action for months. We're going to have a WrestleMania match. I'm surprised. Did he point at the sign? Maybe he pointed at the sign. I don't know. But that's how you started the show. Okay. Again, I know there's going to be peeps out there that are like, man, I got to tell you, BC, I agree with you, man. Much love. But I am looking forward to Randy and Kevin. That's cool, man. I'm not sure. If there's matches you're looking forward to, that's your prerogative. That's cool. I'm not going to rip you apart because you're liking this stuff. It's when you go out of your way to make it sound like this is actually good and that our concerns and what we're saying are irrelevant. You don't know what you're talking about. This is banger television. No, just because you like something, and I'll say the same for me, just because I like something doesn't make it good. My veteran audience, you know what I'm going to say. Jinder Mahal, huge Jinder supporter. I know he shouldn't have the world title, but because I was a fan, a supporter, I'm like, cool for me. But I knew it wasn't good. It's always fine to like and not like something. Just know. You always have to be truthful with yourself. Know if it's good or not. But if you like this, if you're excited for this, cool, man. Don't be shocked when BC tells you there's a lot of us that this is a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. And that's the problem with all of these. You're going to hear this a lot in this review and going forward. This is the problem with most of these matchups. These are nothing more than Raw and SmackDown matchups, sadly. Hunter Helmsley has found a way to take one of the best rosters I've ever seen. I've seen wrestling for decades. This is one of the most stacked rosters, probably. One. I'm not saying the. And he's found a way to make all of it so irrelevant, and even most of the wrestlers seem irrelevant. And he's done that by just booking them badly. We've already seen so many matchups between, like you say, well, what could Drew do singly other than Damian Priest? Drew and Seth we've seen 1,000 times. Drew and Punk we've seen 1,000 times. We've seen Drew and Roman, I believe, at Mania, didn't we? But they've faced each other several times. And that's what I mean. They don't think about making things special. They just want to give away all these matches and do it 100,000 times. So Randy and KO has been reduced to a lot of us to nothing more then maybe a main event at Raw and SmackDown, and only then if they did it correctly. But a Mania match? You're going to have to bulk up this story in the next 4 weeks a lot more to get BC on board. Just delivering truth, man. And I deliver it not just on my own behalf, but I know most of the Amplified unit and a massive chunk of the pro wrestling world at large in totality. Next up, Damian Priest and Jimothy Uso defeated Shinsuke Nakamura and Drew McIntyre. Speaking of, Priest pins Shinsuke via South of Heaven, clean pinfall. My question would be, is Nakamura in the doghouse? I mean that. I mean, that's sad to see what happened to Nakamura. When he lost that title, a lot of people were like, yeah, there was somebody in his circle like past, maybe BC we're hearing. Somebody said like brother. But you still wouldn't just rip a title off of him. And then we heard that, no, he was staying on tour and he's going to continue to wrestle. So then we knew, like, no, it had nothing to do with anybody passing away. They took the title off of him abruptly before Mania, oddly. And then on top of that, they just had him lose a nonsensical tag match. Is Shinsuke in the doghouse? And that's sad, man. What happened to Shinsuke? On top of that, by the way, obviously Drew McIntyre loses as well. So that's another L in his column. Again, just weird booking for one of the dudes that really carried you through 2024 creatively and into 2025. But it was Jimothy Uso that did his brother Jason Uso dirty. The very first move that Jimothy Uso did in this match was an over-the-top dive. The one thing that everybody's been ridiculing Jason Uso on from Monday night. Because Jay, just his legs never got off the canvas. He twirled, tumbled over the top rope, landed on the apron back first. It was bad. Bad botch. From a dude that's going on and supposedly beating Gunther at Mania for a championship. And he can't even dive over the top rope. It's just a bad botch. You would think that Jimothy, his first move wouldn't be flying, and he soared. It was like, hey, I ain't gonna botch this. Hey, Jay, watch this. And he just flies over the... And you're like, dude, that's the first move you did? This dude with an over-the-top dive. That was wild. Post-match, Mac takes out Priest. Lame. You lost. So this is what we call 50-50 booking. It's not just win 1 week, lose the next week, win 1 week, lose the next week, right? That's 50-50. 50-50 is also something like this, where Priest wins the match, so everyone's like, oh, he won, he's a winner. And then 2 minutes later, he's looking up at the lights, knocked out, because the guy that lost was upset and beat up the winner. So now it's the guy that lost that is standing tall. So he's the winner, and the winner is now the loser. Nobody wins. And what happens if I wasn't doing this review? Nobody's talking about this match the next day. It's called bad booking. 50-50 booking is bad booking. It's a detriment to everybody involved. Let's move on to the ladies. You want to talk ass backwards? Well, if you want to talk asses in general, Tiffany Stratton. But ass backwards booking? Tiff and Charles from last night. So Tiffany Stratton, Charles Flair in a sit-down split-screen interview. Now, somebody tell us how we go from an all-out brawl to a sit-down interview. It's ass backwards. Maybe do the interview first. A lot of low blows, some low-hanging fruit, right? Some zinger lines. Get everybody into it. And then if you have to do one of your standardized bullshit repetitive brawls, at least there's more care into it. Last week, they brawl out of nowhere. It was so out of place. 20 men, 20 dudes could not split these ladies up. In fact, all 20 of them got laid out twice by two separate moonsaults. It looked like an absolute legit circus. It was a sideshow. And when that was all said and done, this week, now they're having a sit-down side-by-side. Charlie Flair played a great heel bitch character, which she does good. So that's what I don't understand. She played that beautifully. Just go with that. Stop trying to make her a face to get the fans to accept her. It's not going to happen. It's been 10 fucking years, and it fails every time. It's gotten to the point where it's embarrassingly sad when she comes back smiling, saying, I love you to the fans, and she gets that initial pop because she's been gone for a while, and fans are like, hey, it's Charlie. And then after 6 minutes, they're like, it's Charlie, boo. So her smile and the I love yous turn to a frown and I hate yous. Stop. It's embarrassingly sad. It is a detriment to Charlie. Just make her what she is naturally, character-wise. Ashley Flair might be a sweetheart, but as a character, it is clear she's best as that heel bitch. Play it. I thought she was fine in this last night. Tiffany had the line of the night, though, or the line of this sit-down side-by-side. Tiffany says, and I quote, "You find the hottest thing and throw cold water on it." It's one of those lines, guys, where it's one of those lines it's the best line, yes, right? It's like, whoa, she did not. But it's also one of those lines that's thought-provoking. Like, it really makes you think, wait, there's so much weighted truth in that statement. Charlie finds what's hot and pours water on it, pours cold water on it. And you can't just blame Charlotte, by the way. That's booking, whether it's a Vincent Kennedy or, in this case, a Hunter Hearst Helmsley. It's their fault. But yeah, at some point, Ashley has to go, listen, maybe we should book me a little differently because this isn't working. But how wild was that line? You find what's hot and pour water on it. You kill whoever has momentum, is what she's saying. Whoever is the hottest thing in wrestling female-wise, you'll find it and you'll destroy it. The sad part is, and why that line was so heavy and so good, is the reality in it. That's what happens. That was wild. We then went on to hour number 2. In full transparency, this was the end of hour 1 leading into hour 2. This was Braun Strowman defeating Jacoby Fatu via DQ after the bootleg bloodline interfered. Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonka Truck. Los Angeles night for the save to kind of equal up the odds, right? Equal up the numbers game. So Los Angeles comes out, and the match is made for next week. LA versus Braun Strowman, face versus face. There's so much wrong with this. So again, the DQ victory by Braun over Fatu. Okay, whatever. But the fact that they have cooled off Fatu so badly. Even backstage, they're teasing like a face turn. He's angry with Tonka Truck and Solo for saving him. What is H's fascination when somebody is about to become a really good heel? Helmsley wants to destroy it. Gunther, when he gets the title and we're thinking, oh, this is going to be so good. And he's got him shaking Randy's hand and shaking Cody, and he's a nice heel. You have somebody like Drew McIntyre who's right there, diabolical heel. Look at that feud with Punk. And you sit him at home, and you have nothing for him, and you sit him at catering, and then his big program for Mania is Damian Priest. Braun Breaker should have been a massive heel. He gets the title, and ever since he's been a tweener. He talks trash to the faces backstage, but in the arena, in that ring, he asks where the dogs are at so they can bark, and he panders to the crowd, and they want him to be kind of a face. Why? And he's in there with another face, Penta, even more confusing or bullshit. But why would you do detrimental booking for Braun Breaker? Unless you're not sabotaging it on purpose. You don't want to believe that's the case, but it's nonstop. Fatu had all the makings to be a diabolical heel, and he's toying around with a tweener or face status after last night. I'm telling you, Helmsley he looks at heels like they have cooties. This was one of the best heels of all time, thanks to Vince McMahon's booking. And he refuses to make a top heel. Jacob Fatu was toying around with a face turn last night. And as far as the flip side of that equation, LA Knight, Los Angeles Knight comes to the ring for the save. And instead of talking about something big for LA Knight, Mania's just in 4 weeks from today. 4 weeks. Technically, that's less than a month, unless you're February, I guess, is 28 days. 4 weeks. We're not talking about a match for LA Knight. What we're doing is we're talking about a match next week. LA Knight versus Braun Strowman for the title, I think. I think the title's on the line. What the fuck? Face versus face, you guessed it. Always has to be face versus face. There's so much wrong with this. I'll spare you. We'll just move on because, we got to move on, man. Did you see what was next? Oh, you know what was next. Hunter Helmsley knew what was next. Helmsley's new commercial. That's right. We watched Hunter Hearst Helmsley's new commercial, The Roast of WrestleMania. He was there with The Miz and somebody else, I forget. And all I could think was, great, another thing to distract the son-in-law. As CM Punk would call him, the doofus son-in-law. Punk's words. But another thing to distract the son-in-law from the one thing that he should be doing, being creative. Another thing to distract him. Do you know how long it takes to film these commercials? A normal commercial is 12 hours. I'm sure Hunter made it a way where he didn't have to be there for 12 hours. But standardized would be 6 bare minimum. There's several different angles. You have to do the wardrobe. You have the makeup. You have to do it several times with different takes. That's how he's spending his time. I can't tell you guys how much voiceover work he does. A lot of it you don't even see or hear. It's for like other countries and stuff. This is what he loves the spotlight. And he just loves having that title too. Head of creative, right? The chief content officer. He loves the producer title at the end of every show and his name pops up. He loves that. I'll tell you what he doesn't love. He doesn't love actually being creative, or he just doesn't know how to be. But we got another Helmsley commercial. Piper Niven then defeats Zelina Vega via pinfall. Finish of this match, Zelina had to basically combat all three of the U.S. Department of Chelsea. That's what I call it. The Department of Chelsea. Zelina had to basically fend them all off. Zelina was so good in this match, but in the end, Niven hit Zelina with a flying crossbody that literally squashed Zelina. Zelina was down 1, 2, 3. 45, 89, you could count to 250. She was down. I mean, she got squashed. This was a flying crossbody by Piper Niven. So poor little Zelina, she gave everything she had. She did really good in this match, but she just got absolutely squashed. Wade Barrett was hilarious. Barrett says, and I quote, Zelina is so tiny that she can't even hook Piper's leg for the pin. That could be a problem. BZ is like, well, when you put it like that, Wade, it was so true. Every time Zelina went for a pin, she just looked like a blanket, like a Snuggie. And Niven's trying to take a little nap, and this blanket keeps trying to get on top of her. I mean, if Piper Niven sneezed, Zelina would have been in the third row. But I know that match will probably get panned. I actually thought it was maybe not good match, but it was a decent match. Zelina Vega is better than what she gets credit for. She really is. Piper Niven was, too. Unfortunately, before her WWE days, Piper Niven was actually good, guys. I don't know if she can be that again. I think she's been so just run down by bad booking. I don't even know if she cares anymore. We've seen what happened to people like Shayna Baszler. They just stopped caring. That's pretty evident. It's sad to see, but you could see it in their face. You could see it in the performance. They just don't care anymore. And it's almost to a point where can you blame them? Because they know no matter how hard they work, it's not happening, right? Hunter's not gonna give them what they truly think they should be getting. Piper Niven could be in there. I don't know. But if Piper got consistent booking that was good, maybe we could I think we would see better Piper Niven matchups as well. I just can't say that she's even given a chance to consistently show you matches that are more than 5 minutes. But as far as Zelina goes, she's good every time I see her in that ring. I keep going back to that match. I think it was Puerto Rico where she was in there with maybe Rhea Ripley. I keep going back to that because that was her big moment and she crushed it. And Hunter was like, cool, that's it. That's what I got for you. It's Puerto Rico. Thank you, Zelina. Well, If we're ever back there, I'll give you something better. That was the last time she was really relevant to that level. How sad is that? No, I'm not going to shit on Zelina, man. Zelina is good. She really is. I don't know if she'll get her just due from fans. I think just become one of those individuals where fans are just like, She's good, man. If you go back and watch that match, she gave everything and she was on. I don't mind the outcome. 3-on-1, the heels have to overcome the babyface. I like that. So, of all the problems in World Wrestling Entertainment, this match was not one of them. Now, I will say this. It was a long-ass match, it seemed. Well over 10 minutes, I would think. At least, bare minimum, guys. Normally, I don't mind that, but neither of them are any big thing for WrestleMania. So, my question would be, like, is that the best time to do this? Again, on one hand, you don't want to critique everything to that level, but you can't help but do it because every single decision just seems so fucking wrong. And it's just common sense shit. That TV time should be made to pull a big storyline for one of your big Mania matches. But it just seems like filler. Like Hunter cannot be bothered to give us anything good or anything meaningful or anything that makes sense. He can't be bothered to do that because he's filming his commercials. He's writing his Hall of Fame speech. Liv Morgan, Jade Cargill. I got something to say about Jade Cargill, and this is sad to say. I alluded to this in a previous upload, I think it was last week, and it's sad. And if you follow this channel, you know why it's sad, because I put Jade on a pedestal. I do. I like Jade, man. I understand everybody's concerns, right? She's green, and she's just not good, and this and that. I hear you guys. I see just such a superstar in Jade Cargill. And I know she's been putting in a lot more work than probably even she cares to. But as much as I wanted to see the very best from Jade, because I do see such a superstar, I don't know if it's going to happen for this reason. I don't know any other way to say this. I don't know if Jade Cargill wants to be there. And I'm not saying in WWE and she wants to be back in AEW. I'm saying in wrestling in general, guys. I don't think this is her like end game. I don't think she has told us. I think this is a big reason I'm seeing this and I'm feeling this way. She has told us in so many interviews in so many different ways. She doesn't care for the grind and the travel and all of that. It's almost like a Brock Lesnar. Think of like a female Brock Lesnar where like, I don't want to do all the other bullshit. I want to have the big matchups and collect the big paydays. I'll show up for those. And I think that became a big problem backstage. And that's why the ladies like Shayna Baszler, that ended up being a real report, by the way. We talked about this a week ago. I can confirm other reports came out. I think even Fightful confirmed that there was that beef. And Shayna Baszler and her own almost did come to blows. I guess Jade wasn't happy with the way Shayna worked. And Shayna was like, excuse me? Have you seen you? So Shayna Baszler, and it's not just Shayna, and I think Hunter knew he had to kind of take her off and kind of do some more training and whatnot. But I question if her heart was really there when we did talk about Jade that last time. As much as I put her on a pedestal, I want to see the best because I see a superstar. Is her heart fully in this? Because it just doesn't seem it. It just doesn't feel that way. But after last night, I mean, you can visually see now, like, is it even more than just her heart not being in it? Is her mind not in it? Is she just mentally checked out? I mean, she just looked like that was the last place she wanted to be. She was trying, right? There's times she tried to fire the crowd up. But it just looked like somebody who was just so depressed. It's just like, I know, maybe she just wants to be with family and not in Italy. The travel and having to put on a match that's more than 2 minutes because it was. And by the way, she wasn't even bad in this match. For anybody that's knocking her wrestling last night, you know, that's where I will say pump the brakes. Was it exquisite? Was it great? Was it even good throughout? No. But, dude, she wasn't bad per se at all. It's just, is her mind and heart in this wrestling thing? How fast AEW was giving her the world and how fast she wanted out of that place. It's almost like she just wanted the next stepping, so, you know, the next height. And when her good friend Cody went over and she had that easy entry, she took it like that. And now that she got to WWE, she got that exposure and spotlight, it's almost like, is this what I want to do? I'm just telling you guys how it feels, and we have to have that convo because I do like Jade a lot. She looked like a totally different person with the hairdo last night. I don't. Were you guys on board with the haircut or the way the hair? I like last week Jade look wise better than this one, but I mean, some people are saying she looks even more like a beast with this do. Full transparency, I still like Jade. I still see superstar. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I just am no longer just questioning her heart. I'm questioning, is her mind, is she checked out? I hope that's not the case. Nene tried to save it all, though. Let's get into this first and foremost. So Liv Morgan defeats Jade Cargill via Oblivion pinfall. A huge assist to Naomi, who clocked Jade upside her dome piece with Liv's tag title. And by the way, Jade took that Oblivion very, very good. So props to Jade with that as well. Naomi then put a whooping. She put that whooping on Cargill. Boos are raining down as Nene does all of Jade's poses, middle of the ring, welcoming all the boos and hostility. Oh, I loved it. As much as I say I put Jade on a pedestal, if you follow this channel, you know Naomi is even higher. I was Jade, Naomi, Sasha Banks, and Mercedes Moné is on the top level of my prestige. But Mercedes not in WWE. She was not on this show, so we won't talk Mercedes. But Naomi, damn, she was loving all that hostile, loving the boos, right? That was so awesome to see from Naomi. I don't know what she was wearing. It's like she was late for the show, so she's going $180, and she just like went through a bunch of caution and street signs. She looked like Owen Hart. You guys remember Owen Hart with all the caution? His caution attire. Naomi just has a bunch of caution attire. It was kind of funny. But, yeah, man. She was rocking. That was so good to see. And then we went into... Oh, that's what it was. It was the Street Profits before we got to the babyface schmaz with Roman Rollins and Punk. The Street Profit. Did you guys see how awkward this was? So the Street Profits are introduced, right? So they just show the arena and everyone's sitting really quiet, waiting to see who's next, who's going to be introduced. So they make a big spectacle out of it. And Alicia Taylor, I believe it was, announces the Street Profits. Nobody budges. Nobody makes a sound. Nobody cares. I'm like, okay, maybe they're waiting for the music. The music hits. Bump into. Is that a new theme or is that the one they've been having for, I don't even know anymore. The themes are so generic anyway, so I've kind of like zoned out. Every once in a while, one is a little catchier, and I have to ask, was that the one they've had all along? I don't know if it is or not. You guys can correct me on that or fill me in on that. But the music hits, and still nobody's budging. Nobody cares. Finally, they come out, and there's some wrestling, but that's not a good thing, man. It's like nobody gave a shit about the introduction, the music. So then they do a promo, and they're just talking about how they respect one another and they love one another. And dog, man, this wouldn't have been good, possible if I didn't have you and I have you, and much love, mutual respect. And I'm like, they're pandering to Italy, the crowd. And I'm like, fuck, because you know how I feel, man. I'm a huge Montez supporter. And for that reason, by proxy, Street Profits in totality. But I want them, I absolutely want them as a heel, not a tweener group. As heels, because that's when you're going to get the best Street Profits. But Hunter just has them as tweeners. And that's why nothing is resonating. Because we still don't know what they are. It's like Braun Breaker, Fatu, so many others. Nobody knows what they are. The women, the whole division for the women don't know what they are. And Hunter doesn't tell them what they are because he doesn't even know. There's no transparency. So the Profits are going out there. They're just facing every team any given day. There's no consistency. There's no transparency. There's nothing to latch onto. There's nothing that's going to resonate. And if nothing resonates, nothing is going to pop and get over. Nobody knows what the Profits are. So they just get cheered last night and they just accept it. Yeah! Right? They're just like, hey, at least they're making noise now. Because at first, they didn't care about us. They forgot we bring the party. So that's what we did. It was weird for several minutes. And then all of a sudden, LDF comes out. Humberto and Garza and Santos Escobar. And so they're in like the beginning of the aisleway, not the top of the aisle. They come down like almost to the ring, but they stop. So then Pretty Lively comes out and they start yapping away. I'm expecting all the teams at this point to come out. But I'm like, that's not going to happen because they don't put Motor City out there. They just have Motor City do what they do with Karrion Kross, Braun Breaker most weeks, Shinsuke creepily watching behind the scenes. They just have them walk around the corridors. Like, that's all you ever see these wrestlers do is they just walk around backstage. They never actually get to go to the ring unless it's a brawl, which everybody gets to go down. So it ended with Pretty Lively. It was a three-way promo. That led to nothing, by the way. It was just Humberto and Garza versus Street Profits was made for right there and then. And then next week, Pretty Lively will take on Street Profits. For the titles, by the way. For the titles. Because Pretty Lively earned that right, evidently. And then backstage, DIY and Motor City and Lively, they're all having another, like, powwow. They're all having a tag team summit back there. All yapping away. And it's gotten to the point, it's so bad that it's literally, what's that cartoon? What is that little dog? Snoopy? Wah, 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 wah. It's in one ear, out the other. Wah, 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 wah. I don't even care what they're saying anymore. It's all so stupid. For months, every team is just yapping away like preschoolers and then all going out there and brawling or having random matchups. And there's some fans that I guess are going, wow, Hunter's storyline with his tag team division is amazing. There is none. A 5-year-old with a crayon and a postie pad, a coloring book could write this creative. This tag team division is horrendous. It's got tag teams that should be good. This should be a pretty good division, but they don't care. I'm telling you, I've said this for months, and I stand by it. And it looks more and more like I'm going to be accurate. You're going to see every single team in a schmaz, Fatal 4-Way or something like that. Tag team, Battle Royal, who knows? But you're going to get a multi-team schmaz for Mania, and that's only if they actually put it on Mania. A lot of years, they're not even worthy to be put on Mania. So they put the tag teams on the SmackDown before or the Raw after. It's sad. This has been stupid. And just like the New Day on Raw, the Street Profits on SmackDown, due to poor booking, are absolutely fizzling out. And then we worship Hunter Hearst Helmsley some more. A dramatic 5-minute look at Hunter Hearst Helmsley's career ahead of the Hall of Fame. And they make it all sentimental. He pulled his quads. They said he couldn't come back to action until he rehabs. That's how it works. That's how it works. Sid Vicious, Sid Justice can tell you a little bit about rehabbing and trying to fight his way back. This guy snapped his leg in half. Half of his leg went the other way on live TV. But Hunter pulled quads. Nobody knew if he was going to come back within a reasonable 5-year span. I don't even know. It was so... I mean, this dude got the most inspiring, emotional, captivating 5 minutes of the entire show. And it's the fucking chief of content. You shouldn't be shocked that it was Hunter Helmsley that they made that video package for. And then we went into the main event segment, which was Roman Reigns, Rollins, Punk. They saved almost a half an hour for this. It was a lot of sing-alongs, a lot of chants. And Roman just said, Rollins' beef with Roman is that I get it. There's so much history that we can't coexist in the same area. I get it. So let's write another chapter. Okay, if you got to do a one-on-one, that's fine. Does it have to be at Mania? We've seen this 1,000 times. Well, whatever. And then Punk comes out. And Punk and Rollins, I guess, still have this beef, even after facing each other 3 times. But if you gotta settle at Mania, whatever. But nope, they had to manufacture enough beef between Roman and Punk somehow that would warrant a triple threat. And Roman's reason he doesn't like Punk right now is because Punk cost him at the Rumble. Punk eliminated him from the Rumble, something like that. Isn't that the purpose? Everybody, then you could start every feud that way. Whoever eliminated who, there's your whole WrestleMania. That Roman is all of a sudden a crybaby character. That's what he's holding on to. It's like Rhea Ripley. I mean, at this point, it's not just what can Hunter ruin, it's how badly can he ruin these wrestlers and their booking and how they're looked at. Roman's being banned for this already. I'm hoping Roman didn't book that. I'm hoping Paul Heyman didn't. You eliminated me, and then I saw you with Paul, so I speared you. And that was it. And all of a sudden, now that warrants a triple threat. There's enough beef. There's now enough beef between Punk and Roman that they have to have a Mania match. That's it. That was the whole promo. I wish I could tell you more. Seth just told Roman, listen, we're going to have to write another chapter because it's still hard for us to coexist. And then Punk says, man, I didn't screw you out of the Rumble. That's the rules of the Rumble, man. And Roman's like, oh, yeah. Like, Roman's face is like, shut up, man. That's how bad it was. I'm not ad-libbing. And then we went into a brawl. All three dudes. Bunch of suits and ties, security, everybody comes out. Even Joe Tessitore on commentary was like just like done with it. He's like, and here, you gotta hear, it was hilarious, guys. He's like, and here comes the security and the suits and ties and the referees. Joe Tess was like, here we go again. It was hilarious. If it wasn't so damn depressing, it was hilarious. And they attempt to break it up mid-brawl. Punk just jumps on the commentary table and starts yelling, you, me. And he points up at the Mania sign. I'm like, that was so weird. And then he gets his ass kicked after. Why would you stop your fight to point at a fucking sign, you weirdo? So then Rollins jumps up on the apron. And he's like, you, me, Mania. I'm like, that's what Punk just... Why would you stop and then Rollins got his ass whooped right after. and then Roman jumped on the staircase. And Roman's like, Mania. And then he proceeds to start brawling again and and then we faded to black. Thankfully, this show was over. Again, perhaps, if we didn't just see Tiffany and Charlie last week doing the same thing and 937 brawls within the last 3 months, perhaps this would have a little bit more impact than it did. Perhaps. Small perhaps. I said it in the cold open teaser. I remain fluent amplified status in the closing of this review. I have seen the goofiest things in pro wrestling, from the gobbledygooker to the David Arquette's winning the world championships, to the Shockmasters, to Retribution. I've seen some goofy shit. Vince McMahon's walk. I've seen some goofy shit. This is one of the goofiest things I've ever seen to set up one of the goofiest, nonsensical, bullshit Mania matches I've ever seen. Even if this wasn't WrestleMania, if this was Crown Jewel, if this was Raw or SmackDown, if this was booked for a house show, I would be calling this one of the dumbest matches I've ever heard of. There's no reason for this match. They're trying to manufacture reasoning a month away. It's so bad. And on top of that, there's not even anything on the line. It's just they're throwing three of your top baby faces, not even a heel. Top baby faces, they're throwing them into a triple threat with nothing. No purpose. And they're hoping that the kids will go, oh, this is going to be one of the best matches in Mania history. The 4 minutes they were brawling was one of the clunkiest, poorest things I've ever seen. Most ridiculously clunkiest 4 minutes I have seen in a long time. Punk, Roman, and Rollins was a sad brawl. Tiffany and Charlie's brawl last week was 96% better than that. But yeah, give me 25 minutes of that, please. And that was your SmackDown 3/21/25 review. Tell me how you really feel, BC. I went way over my allotted time. I mean, I am my own boss, so I allot my own time. But the allotted time that I did give myself, now I am kind of backed up on other business that I do have to attend to. But there was no way that we could half-ass this review. It's not what we do on this channel. We don't bullshit. We don't sugarcoat. We don't half-ass. You're going to get the full throttle amplification, the full factual fact bombs nonstop, man. That's what we gave in this review. Damn, did we light it up. That's what I got for you guys, man. There'll be so much more to, will there be, right? I don't know. There'll be a lot more to talk about, obviously, in the new week to come. Can WWE get this back on track? Can WWE finally, I mean, the good news is we hear in the reports that they are now finally concerned of the lack of interest and enthusiasm. It seems like ever since Monday night, so many more fans are now realizing what BC has been trying to tell them all along. This is not good, and we have to come together and be honest about it so that it can get better. And it's never going to get better if we're not honest about it. And we just say, oh, it's okay, it's fine, you guys just don't like it, you're hating. No. Raise your bar, man. Raise your standards. If you truly like this stuff, then you have to trust people like BC when you say, take a step back and realize it can be so much better. We know this because we've gone through a lot of us have been through many decades of wrestling. We can tell you that even in 2025, there's no reason the bar should be this low. If you truly like what you're seeing somehow, yeah, what if I told you it could be so much better? They just don't care. They want to suck every penny out of any individual that's left, and they want to give you nothing in return. We know this because factually, that's what we're seeing. Until next time, there will be that next time. 44 dive, that's a wrap. BC saying check you. Unit. Salud.